At LaveLab, we just tested the Navimow i208 AWD, and in this video, we are going to tell you what we honestly think about it. And if you are interested in this product, please note that we have put a link with its best price just below this video. This robot mower is quite compact, and it weighs 14 kilograms. It is also IP66 certified, which means it resists rain, jets from a garden hose, and dust. Under its structure, there are two large drive wheels at the front and a small all-terrain drive wheel at the back, which activates when necessary. We also find the cutting disc with its 5 blades. On top of the robot, a large stop button allows it to be stopped in an emergency. There is also the display screen, the buttons to return to the station, start mowing and validate a selection, and the cutting height adjustment wheel. Finally, at the front, we find the AI camera equipped with a lamp. To secure the device, there is a PIN code to enter on the control panel from the first startup. This code prevents access to settings and blocks the system if the robot is moved or restarted. The i208 comes with a charging station and its power cable. This cable measures 8 meters, which is a correct length. To fix the station in the grass, screws and a hexagonal key are provided. A kit of 5 spare blades is also present in the packaging, as well as a guide explaining the steps to follow to set up the robot. This model has integrated 4G and NRTK technology, so it can be used without an RTK antenna. This makes its setup extremely fast, as you just need to install the station, plug it into a socket, and place the robot on it. However, if you prefer it to use a standard RTK antenna for its localization, a unit is provided in the packaging. On our side, we did not install it because we preferred to use the NRTK. In terms of maintenance, it is enough to sometimes rub the camera lens and the charging port. In addition to that, it is recommended to change the blades and screws every 2 months. When you run out of blades, you can buy a kit of 12 pieces for about 20 euros. Finally, know that there is a 3 years warranty on this model, which is reassuring regarding its durability. So much for the design. Now let's move on to the features. To configure the robot, you must connect it to the Navimow application. This process was easy on our side, as was downloading the latest software updates that were available. The i208 is designed for large lawns of maximum 800 square meters. It has Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and 4G to connect to your smartphone and the internet. Navimow offers 1 year of access to 4G data. After this trial period, it takes about 30 euros to renew the annual subscription. This includes NRTK geolocation, control via the application when the robot is out of Wi-Fi range, and the GPS anti-theft function. This subscription is not mandatory, and you can choose to install the RTK antenna instead. But in our opinion, its price is reasonable given the features it offers. After connecting the robot to its application, you can map your lawn either automatically or manually. As is often the case, it is more efficient to do it manually, because the slightest peculiarity in your terrain can disrupt the automatic mapping. You can then edit the created map by defining forbidden zones or by dividing the lawn into different zones. The robot can be started to mow either the entire lawn or a specific zone if you have created several zones. You can also control it manually via the application as if it were a remote-controlled car. Of course, it is possible to schedule the mowing for certain days and certain hours. The cutting height is adjustable between 2 and 6 centimeters in height via the wheel present on the device. During its operation, you can follow the robot live on the application, but you cannot see through its camera. Among its other features, we find the log of tasks performed, the settings related to the direction of mowing and cutting along the edges, the management of weather conditions, or even the modification of the PIN code. Finally, in terms of security, it is possible to activate an alarm when the robot is lifted or when it leaves the mowing zone. During our tests, the lifting alarm worked well when we activated it. Well, enough talking about theory. Let's now move on to something concrete with our performance tests. The mapping of our small test lawn of 26 square meters was done without any problems. Then, to evaluate the cutting performance of the i208, we carried out 2 tests. A first cut up to 6 centimeters, the maximum height of the robot, then a second up to 3 centimeters. In both cases, the result was correct, with quite methodical navigation and a uniform cut. However, even by selecting the mow along the boundary mode several times, The edges of the lawn were never mown correctly. This is the biggest flaw we found in this robot, and we hope that a future update will fix this. Regarding its speed, on our surface of 26 square meters, each cut lasted 18 minutes. The robot, therefore, has a speed of 1.44 square meters per minute, which is within the average. We also tested obstacle avoidance by placing objects of different sizes on our lawn. Fortunately, the robot carefully detected and avoided all these obstacles: ball, plush rabbit, bucket, pencil case, and chair. Then we checked if it could indeed climb slopes of 45% inclination, or 24 degrees, and in fact, it succeeded easily thanks to its all-terrain triple drive wheel system. Its third wheel impressed us during our tests, because it allows the robot not only to climb steep slopes, but also to turn on itself without damaging the lawn. In our terrain configuration, we have two mowing zones, a first main one of 26 square meters, very flat and simple, and a second, more complex one which is located behind a row of vegetable planters. During our test of this robot mower, it managed to navigate by itself to the second zone. It was able to climb the slopes between the two zones on its own, and it handled the descent well on the way back. We were also able to use it in manual mode to cut the grass present between the planters. This mode works well, but it lacks a bit of fluidity because we tend to confuse the front and the back of the device. Overall, the robot showed impressive power during our tests, especially when there was heavy vegetation or when it was necessary to climb a steep slope. It is therefore a model capable of managing complex lawns in our opinion. To finish with the performance, note that it is very discreet in operation. Finally, let's finish this test by evaluating the battery life. This robot has a battery of 5,100 milliampere hours, which allows it to cover up to 800 square meters of terrain according to the brand. If necessary, it can resume its task where it left off when it is charged again. The full charging time is 2 hours. During our test on our flat and simple lawn of 26 square meters, the robot lost only 10% of battery. We therefore estimate that it can mow more than 200 square meters per charge, which is a beautiful endurance. If your lawn is the maximum of 800 square meters recommended by the brand, it will take an entire day to mow this surface. And that's it for our test results. So to summarize everything, the negative points of the Navimow i208 AWD are its poor edge cutting, despite several attempts and the activation of the mode specially made for that. We hope that a future update will correct this issue. As for the positive points, its ultra-simple installation, the possibility to use either the NRTK or the provided RTK antenna, its high motor power, its excellent obstacle detection, its very good navigation, even on slopes, its complete security functions given its price, and its resistant IP66 design. And that ends our test. Thank you very much for watching it. As a reminder, you will find the link to this product with its best price just below the video.